my name is Yuko Shimizu. Yes, that's my name. I'm an illustrator. Wow, it's a packed audience. So the reason why I'm standing here today is because recently I got interviewed by 99U. I said I don't do personal work, and that got me here. And don't worry, I'm not going to talk about anything nightmarish, so like it's not about that. The reason why I don't do personal work right now is like, yeah, I'm busy, but that's not exactly the reason. The reason is I explained to them that at this point in my career, people know what I do, and clients call me mostly knowing what I do and what I can give them. And therefore, when they call me, I can actually do something equivalent of my personal work in professional work. And then they're like, oh, that's so interesting. Do you think you can share, like, is there any secret you can share about it with the audience? And like, I thought about it, and like, actually, yeah, it's not like it just happened. It just didn't happen. I have to make decisions, and I also have to make a lot of sacrifices. So yeah, I guess I can share some of that with you. So that's why I'm here right now. And so you already know I just got fired. And I just got fired because I was thinking about, okay, how do I organize this talk? It's a brand new talk. I've never done this talk before, and I practiced like 20 times before I came here, and then I clicked it wrong. But anyway, this lady, not this lady, but this lady's magazine recently fired me. They gave me a monthly job, and I did full illustration 2 months, and I got really nice email saying, thank you so much, but we decided to go with another direction. Like things like that happens. It hurts, but like, hey, it's like, freelancer, it's part of our life. And I was really excited to get monthly job because as a freelancer, that's monthly stable income, right? Like one more monthly stable income is great. And also monthly exposure of my work to audience that I'm not familiar with is also great. And it's a great magazine, so like, why would I say no? But then things are not quite working out from the start because, this one got actually published. It's, I think, in the newsstand right now. So that's that. And so they said like, it's a female audience. We want something feminine and sweet and like candy colored. Like something that makes women happy to see. And then I was like, okay, that is not actually what I'm known for. I can do it, but it's not what I'm known for. So what started happening is while I was working on these 4 illustrations, I was always like second guessing. Is it feminine enough? Is it colorful enough? Is it happy enough? I keep finding myself adjusting the bar on Photoshop to make it brighter and brighter and brighter. And so when I got a nice email, this is my reply to them, a nice email saying, like they decided to go with someone else. The biggest surprise was not that I got fired. The biggest surprise was I was not surprised because it wasn't working out. And it wasn't really came in a way right timing because I was thinking of how to do this presentation. Like, yeah, let's go over what I have decided over the years of working in the illustration industry and, bring myself to the point that I can do my personal work in the project. So here we go with some of the things. First thing first, this is what I did. Like right at the beginning of my career, I made the decision what kind of artist I want to be and have a clear picture. And because I'm an illustrator, I made some charts that moves. So there are 2 types. There are more than 2 types, but like in a big category, there are pop star types in any art, illustration, design, typography, you name it. A pop star type and the original type. So the pop star is Justin and original is Bjork. And so like let's think of like different aspect. Money-wise, who makes more money? It's pretty obvious, right? Like it has like pop star has bigger demographic, like you're more known probably than the original. But of course the original, like if you're top of the original, you make money, but probably not as much as the big pop star that fills the stadium, sorry. I'm ESL. okay? So anyway, then like look at the other aspect, respect. What do I want, money or respect? And I decided at some point, okay, like I might not become the most, like the richest illustrator working today, and I am not. There are so many other people who make a lot more money, but I want to be someone who is respected by someone who I respect. That is the goal of the originals, and that is the decision I have made. So like, okay, for the pop star, don't even think about the respect part, right? Like, it's like pros and cons. Everyone has pros and cons. So the pop star has more jobs, probably makes more money, probably have less respect, and probably have less freedom because their job is to cater toward what the mass audience want. And in the originals, and obviously get more respect, probably they're less suitable jobs. So she's probably making less money, but she gets a lot more creative freedom. And then I'll give you a little bit of bonus if we try to be the original. There are always someone out there who loves your work because your work is different from some other people's work, and they will go out and beyond and make projects for you, and you're the only one who can do it. Of course, there aren't a lot, but then when they decide, it's you and only you who will get it. That's the bonus. So you have to choose. Like both have pros and cons. You can't win everything. And then you have to make decisions, and it's obvious which one I'm talking about today. So I'm going to talk about the originals. Of course, there are people out there who want to be the pop star. Then like you commit to it, then become the biggest pop star, and then make shitload of money, and that makes you happy. So hey, go for it. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. So once you become a pro, stop getting influences from those people who are in your own field. So as a student, I'm sure there are students out here. Students, your job is to copy, get influenced, and then learn from everyone who you love. And then eventually that will become your own thing. But as a professional, if you did that, you're just a copycat of your peers, because people who you were respecting as a student, all of a sudden when you start making money in that field, becomes your peers. They're not your heroes anymore, they're your peers, and you can't rip off your peers. And don't choose anyone from your own field as a goal of who you want to be. So more chart? Yeah. And then like originals, like, you get a job, and then the original says all these reasons, and she can't take the job. And then what happens? And then like, okay, then we have to find someone else. And there are all these copies who are not exactly the original, but the copies of original, and you have gazillions of one to choose from, right? Like, do you want to be that? Like you want to be that. If you become that and you are at the best, the second best of someone, and like that's not the happiest life, especially like as you heard, I quit my shitty day job to do this, and I worked for 11 years in corporate PR. Like I don't want to do it anymore, so I don't want to do something other people want me to do. And try to learn to say no. Like, don't take that project if it takes good night's sleep away from you. I'm not talking about all-nighters. I'm talking about the ethics. And we have to all make decisions. Here are some examples of actual jobs and actual companies and industries that I turned down the jobs from. And I'm not telling you to turn those down because it's my own decision and not yours, And so for me, it's important that I feel like I did a good job today. I'm happy with what I'm working on, the people I'm working on, and go to sleep well. And so it's okay to turn down the job because there are always other people who wants to take it. For example, I work with Playboy magazine, no problem. I love working with them. They love illustrators, and they're great. And then I talked to my peer who's a fundamentalist Christian, and he said like, oh, no way, I'm never gonna work for girly magazines, right? Like, cool. And then we talked to the third guy, and it's like, I'm not making this shit up. It's like for real. And they're all my former studio mates, and I loved them to death. And then the third studio mate is a gay boy, and he said, like, no way I'm working for fundamentalist Christian magazines because they don't believe in my right? So, like, everyone's standards are different, and everyone has within those three that we will be happy to work for and we will never work for. And everything balances out. And also what's important is like going back to I got fired, and then I wrote a nice email and I still recommended someone. And from bottom of my heart, and it's like really important for me to recommend someone. And I will just brag a little bit. Marcus Chin is one of my best friends and like amazing illustrator. Actually, I got a call recently to do a job for season 6 of Game of Thrones. I got really excited when I got a call. And then, wait a minute, I've never watched a single show. You know, like, how can I do this? Like, I can take this job just because it's cool, because all the fans knows everything and I don't, and you will see through, and it's unfair. So I turned it down and I recommended my best friend, Marcus, because he's a huge fan and he got it. And he's happy, I'm happy. You know, again, you can't win everything, but you can help each other. And that's one of the biggest reasons why this industry is great in New York, the design and art and illustration industry. I do what I do, you do what you do, we do different things. So we don't need to backstab each other. We can help each other because you're not the direct competitor. It's a direct competitor in a sense. You're doing good work, I'm doing good work, and then like, you know, everyone's great. And I love this about New York, and this is happening because a lot of the people choose to try to be the originals. I'm not saying I'm the original, I'm trying to be the original, and this attitude is like very, very important. So the big karma point for, you know, like recommending people, do it. So what can we do to strengthen our personal voice? And the most obvious ones make personal work. Like, hey, wait a minute, didn't you just say you don't do personal work? Yes, I did say that, but I didn't say I've never done it. I've done shitload of personal work because that's what you have to do, because you know what the secret is? You get what you show. So if you have jobs you want to get, you have to show what you want to get. And if that's not in your portfolio, you have to make that. And so those are my personal work drawings, and those got me some of the jobs, like, for example, like Rolling Stone. I got it because I did those personal works. And I did these, and I got those. So, like, it's important. Like, sometimes clients are very, very simple. They need to see to give you that job. So if that's not in your portfolio, just do it and then start from the personal work. Okay, but everyone here is, like, really busy, right? Like, what's some other options? You know, like something I can do on an everyday basis. And it's a little bit academic, but I got this as a project during graduate school. Write a detailed essay about ideal day exactly 5 years from now. Okay, like trust me, it's good. In the morning till night, wake up till the time you go to sleep, write the detailed day, as detailed as possible, about your work and about your private life included. And you can't just write, I'm going to be working on kids' book. No, you have to write about, this is a kid's book about blah, blah, blah. Who's the writer? You know, how many pages you're in, like what medium you're using, who's the publisher, detail as possible, because if you don't set the goals, you can achieve the goal. And that was one of the biggest advice my professor gave me. And I made a chart. That's a mini me. And he stressed on the importance of the high goal setting. So if your goal's high, you work really, really hard, you might not get to the top, but like you accomplish a lot. Your goal's low, and then you just, like I didn't even work hard and I got there, right? So like if you set your goal high, that's how much you work. So you really have to set your goal high and start from writing your goal setting. And take at least one small risk every single day. I'm not talking about jaywalking or anything. I'm sure you jaywalk. But do something like 5%, 10% in your job, anything you haven't done. And so you are a little bit nervous, but you're a little bit excited. So it's not repeating yourself every day. So like, let's say 10% every single drawing. Maybe I'll do 10 drawings in 20 days, 30 days. And then within a month, like I'm in a whole nother level, right? And then it's like small things every day will take you to a completely different position. And when you look back and your work sucked before, and you're on the right track. By the way, that's my very first commission job in 2002. You will never see it anywhere, and you will never see it again. But it sucked, so hey. And if you have a client who's like very generous and let you experiment, take advantage. So I had a client right at the beginning, gave me job almost every week, and budget sucked. And then the deadline sucked, but so they didn't care what I did. And I use this, I mean, like as long as publishable, I mean. So like I use this to experiment anything that I wanted to do. Some came out great, some came out not great, but I learned so much and thanked them to death. And how about charity work? There's no money. And then how about project that with low budget? And I'm not talking about people who can pay budget but not paying, like don't work on that job. I'm talking about, friends, small companies, coffee shops across the corner. I'm talking about those. And use those because no money means total creative freedom. And if they don't pay and try to art direct you, you have to say, honey, it doesn't work that way. Practice that because it's very important. And then the opposite is also, it's a good karma to do the charity work. This I did for Key Robert, and then like they raised money. I was happy experimenting, so like everyone's happy. It's a big karma point. And also the opposite is true. This was my biggest paid job I have ever done, probably. And it was a nightmare because they made me do 50 revisions. So when there's money, there's catch. Sometimes we have to do it because we have to pay our bills. It's okay. But like use those charity work, non-paid work as your, a ground to do something innovative and new. So, when I was like, while I was getting angry at that job that I did 5 years ago, put your FU into work because anger is a good motivator. So I'll give you some examples of what kind of anger that I use. I was always told my work will never fly because it's heavily influenced by comics, and comics are not art. And look at me now, I'm doing this job mostly because that's the reason. So hey, you have to stick to what you believe in and you have to stick to what you love. The bottom line, you bitch to your friend, your problem goes away, it's not a problem. It's okay, bitch to your friend. If you bitch to your friends and family and everyone and it doesn't go away, that's a huge problem. You really have to change and do something about it. And so another example, graduate thesis, I was told, it's too weird, you're not gonna get jobs. Okay, but like I kept going, and this is my first job from Playboy, and this was my very first magazine spread job. So hey, and icing on the cake, I got a gold medal from the Society of Illustrators. Thank you! Which was the first ever recognition I got from illustration. Well, time is running out, so. Okay, so like why did I go to art school? Because I was scared of people who went to art school because I went to school in business, undergrad, and I wanted to go to art school and I couldn't. So I was always self-conscious for 11 years when I was working. And the only way to change that is to go to art school. So I went. And then that's me when I was 20-something in the office. So stable job, like good, decent income. How did I let it go? Because I met this guy. My last boss, who was completely mentally abusive. And I went to hit the rock bottom, and I was really angry, crying in the bathroom, and that let me finally decide to quit my job that I had for 11 years. And thank you. Oh my God, like I'm over time. I have to finish this. Okay. So I went to art school. It still continues. All my classmates 18. I was 34. I was like, fuck, you know, like I'm so old. But then if I'm double the age, if I work double the time, I can get anything accomplished, right? So like I feel like if I didn't go to art school late and that motivated me to work, I don't think I'm here now. So like I'm really happy I actually started late. And then I recently got this really nice note on my Facebook page. So hey, if you know, like if I'm able to motivate any single one person in this audience, I think there is a meaning and reason for me to be here. So I hope you can take something out of this. And thank you so much.